The year was 1948. From the terrible ashes of the Holocaust, a new nation was born, Israel. A safe place for a people deeply hurt, a shield against more cruelty. That's the story most people know. This powerful and moving story resonated with many. It found a welcoming audience in the West, still troubled by the memory of the Nazis' terrible acts. But this story, like all stories told for a reason, had a darker, hidden side. A side spoken about in secret, a side ignored in the foolish rush to welcome the new state. Because while Israel was born from the horrors of genocide, another group of people faced their own disaster. The Palestinians and all those deemed to be non-Israelis were forced from the lands of their ancestors and became totally innocent and ignored victims of this moment in history. It is known as the Nakba, the catastrophe. The new-founded state of Israel was born from the ashes of others on the grounds that the land known as the Levant was given to them by their God, which is also known as an imaginary friend. A slow-motion disaster, families pulled from their homes at gunpoint and most often executed both then and now, their olive trees and crops untended. Their futures, should they even survive, would very likely result in their demise by way of hunger, thirst, or lack of basic health care. This wound, painful and unhealed, would become the bitter opposite of Israel's laughable story of survival. We come in peace, though mostly we shoot to kill all and sundry. Men, women, children, pets, goats, sheep, the list goes on. Israel, always portraying itself as the underdog, used the centuries-long story of being a victim, like that of the boy who cried wolf. Every fight, every conflict made this image stronger, as though a child being unfairly admonished for behaving badly, when in fact the boy in the boy who cried wolf story took a box of bait along with him to encourage the wolves to attack. The Six-Day War, a quick victory that cemented Israel's military power, was presented as an act of self-defense against certain destruction, when it was little more than the United States of America attempting to dry their eyes using chemical weapons and the such like. The Yom Kippur War, a harsh reminder that even the most prepared can be surprised, only made the farcical claim of being under attack even stronger. Through it all, the message stayed the same. Israel, surrounded by peoples they had terrorized for over 2,000 years, fought just to exist. The world, still feeling guilty about not being able to do much during the Holocaust because they were at war with the Nazis, easily believed this story. How could anyone deny a people who had suffered so much the right to protect themselves, to make sure they survived, regardless of if it meant the genocide of others? What happened to the people of Canaan? The Sea Peoples? The US-backed genocidal state of Israel would have you believe that they left and went elsewhere? Is there any evidence to back up the claim? No, none. It's utter bullshit. Across the Atlantic, a powerful nation watched. The United States, connected to Israel by history, shared beliefs and willingness to sup on Israeli male genitalia, became Israel's strongest sycophant. Military support flowed freely, making Israel's already strong army even stronger. Diplomatic protection was total, shielding Israel from international criticism even as its settlements spread further into Palestinian land. This constant support, ignoring the entire history of the conflict, helped confirm Israel's self-proclaimed victimhood. The message was clear. Israel, the only laughably considered democracy in a troubled region, deserved complete support and utter US servitude. And then there is Gaza, a small strip of land crowded with people gripped by poverty and under constant siege for roughly 2,000 years. Gaza, one of very many open wounds of this genocidal conflict, stands as a clear reminder of the human cost of Israel's story. Here, the true cruelty is plain to see. Genocide played live for all to see and now available live in 4K. Repeated military attacks, justified as responses to rocket fire, have left Gaza's infrastructure destroyed. The economy is shattered, its people trapped in a cycle of poverty and hopelessness. The international community, its statements sounding more and more empty, watches from afar. Gaza, a small example of the larger conflict, shows the true, brutal nature of what's happening.